In this episode of the NBA Draft Junkies podcast, my brother James and I, we're going to talk about Tyran Stokes. I think Tyran Stokes is the most talented freshman or player in college basketball. But why is there so much talk about him not going number one? James and I were going to share our thoughts on Tyran Stokes versus the field. Stay tuned. What up, everybody? I'm your host, Rafael Barlow, and this is the NBA Draft Junkies podcast with my brother James. And this episode is brought to you by nobody because we don't have any sponsors right now. We are sponsored by Rafael and James Barlow. So if you're looking to sponsor this podcast, let us know. Holler at us. We're definitely open to some sponsors. I'll be real. No betting sponsors. No betting sponsors. I'm not with betting. I think betting has ruined sports. So, yeah, I'd rather not have any sponsors than have a betting sponsor. No liquor sponsors either. I'm only going to do sponsorships of what I believe in. Anyway, with that being said, what up, James? How are you?
Man, I'm all right, man. How are you?
Man, I'm good, man. I just came back from watching some guys play pickup basketball, some pro runs.
You going to
Funny
tell the whole
story.
story?
Yeah, I'm gonna give the condensed version because I know people want to hear us talk about Tyran Stokes. So Dallas is a hotbed for talent. There's a lot of NBA players coming in and out of Dallas. A lot of guys from Dallas. So there were some pro runs today, and I usually kind of get there early just to kind of watch. And there's this guy and his father there. Don't want to discriminate, but he just didn't look like a ball player. Not a high level ball player, but he was at the gym early, way before everybody else getting up shots. And I'm gonna see his pops there, and he's got the tripod with the camera phone set up. And first thing that comes to my mind is what's going on. But then this is G League tryout season, and I've got so many DMs of people that are sending me video clips of them playing in local rec leagues. Asking me can I help them get a tryout. So that's what I'm thinking, right? So anyway, the pros pull up, and it's clearly obvious that this guy doesn't belong. And the pros are nice. Like I use Cason Wallace for example. Cason Wallace was there.
Professional.
He NBA champion. He's making the right play, passing the ball to the guy, and he's airballing, and he's wiping his hands after the air ball, bricks a layup. Clearly he can't dribble, but the pros were nice. But somebody in their entourage ran on the floor, yanked him off the court, and was like, "Sub, you're done for today." And then the guy's looking like, "What?" And then he brought in another player that just signed a two-way with a team. Was like, "Hey man, come here right now." So this guy's just coming off like the sideline. I could be wrong, but I felt like what I saw with my own eyes was dude dug in his pocket and paid the guy to go home. And they made his dad delete the footage off the phone. So I don't know if he was like a streamer trying to like, you know what I mean? Like, and that's why I thought like, man, the homeboy in the entourage is either he's on his A game, like he's peeping everything out, but again, I don't know if like the dude was trying to like score one basket and then he was gonna like go viral. But shout out to the guy in the entourage that basically kicked my man and his dad out the gym. And you know what it made me think?
What's that?
I need friends like that. I need friends like that. That they're like, they don't allow scrubs around me. That's the message I got. I need friends that when they see people that don't belong in my circle, they will get them out the circle and pay them to go away because they don't want me to get hurt. And that's what I think the guy in the entourage thinks like, hey man,
Hey, man.
we got
That's
these pros out here. We got Kaysen who's up for a contract. We got some other guys. We don't need somebody getting hurt because
exactly.
so that was a funny story, unrelated to Tyran Stokes. But all right, let's get into this episode. So I have Tyran Stokes as my number one.
Okay.
What about you?
Yeah, he's my number one too.
Oh, so this ain't gonna be a debate episode, but
Not really. No, no, no. We are going to see eye to eye. I mean, we talked about Jordan Smith having a chance. I think
yep.
if anyone has a chance, it's Jordan Smith, but it's Tyran Stokes. Tyran Stokes is the guy.
Why do you
I
like Stokes?
I mean, I would argue Tyran Stokes is as good as Tyran Stokes could have been a top 5 pick last year. I think he's that good. Tyran Stokes is a great athlete, very good ball handler. I think he has high level passing potential, but he needs to clean up
Potential.
the
He's
potential.
already a
Well,
very good passer.
I say potential, but I lump in the turnovers in there. And he's more of a 1-to-1 assist to turnover ratio guy. Then I mean, he's obviously not underwater, especially as much as he handles the ball. And really, I was trying to do some quick pre prep. His As a 16-year-old playing with AJ DeBansa, he was a 1.2-to-1 assist to turnover ratio guy. I think he has very, very good court vision. Just needs to clean up the turnovers. I think, and he's going to be somebody who's going to be able to scale down if necessary because he hits the glass, he plays hard, grab and go. I don't. I mean, shout out to Stefan Joksimovic, shout out to Jordan Smith. I don't think anybody's better than Tyron Stokes.
Yeah,
No.
I think talent wise, I don't think it's to me it's not the talent of why he may not go number one. There's just been, talk about just off the court stuff. And for the record, I've never heard of him like getting arrested or anything like that. You just hear a lot of stuff about like a fiery personality, just a very intense guy. Um and I think like for him it shows on the court, but there are some concerns like about how that manifests off the court. And I saw him play at the U19s. I was there. You can see he's an intense guy. You can see it. If he's not afraid to voice his opinion towards coaching, and we'll get on the relationship with him and Bill Self later on. But I like Stokes. I mean, he's just physically imposing, and this is another guy that seems like he's had an NBA ready body since he entered high school, and we're getting more and
230.
more, more and more of those guys. He was a man child when he was a freshman.
Yeah, he's been 6'7", 230. Like that's not extra weight. That's not a late
Yeah,
growth spurt. Like I feel like he's been the exact same size since he was a freshman. And I mean, to his point, or to speak towards his talent, like yes, he's been physically imposing, and there may not be any room for him to, grow or develop more physically, but he's got skills as well. He's not just, I mean, yes, he's beating up on guys because he's bigger and stronger, but like he does have some skills as well.
yeah, it's definitely skilled. My first time seeing him play live was, I think he was at an EYBL session in Dallas, but I think he was probably like in ninth grade. It was the first time I saw AJ DeBansa play live. And it's crazy because I remember like that particular EYBL session, and you had guys that are like sophomores. Like I want to say like I think Trey Johnson was in that tournament. I remember watching Elliot Cadeau, and Stokes was like super young. I think he was going into the ninth grade, if I'm not
Had to be
mistaken.
like 15 or 14. Yeah.
And he was, and I think he was playing 17s. I could be mistaken, but he's always been like physically gifted. But like when I watched him play last summer in the EYBL session in Kansas City, there was like a big crowd around. So you see him like you see the size, the physical tools. You see him in the layup line, and you see him dunking everything with power, and you just like you're expecting like this bruiser until you see the opening tip, and he gets the ball and he rifles a live dribble pass to a cutter, and you're like, okay, this is a little different. So my comparison for him has always been like Miles Bridges with court vision. Maybe not as like twitchy explosive as Miles Bridges, which who is not too many guys, but Stokes is a very very good athlete as far as just the power and bounce, but it's that combination along with the court vision that really stands out to me. And he's tough. He's a dog.
I think, excuse me, I think, I,
James
I
don't
think
have a comp like that.
I
Yesterday,
don't have a
you
comp
had the
because
best one. That was your
I've
best
mentioned
one ever
Scotty Barnes
yesterday.
before. I think he's more wired to score than Scotty Barnes. I think Scotty Barnes has grown into somebody who can score because he's
Hmm.
just really, really good. I think he's not the prospect of Jason Tatum, but I think he is like the power forward wing ball handler that Jason Tatum is. Not maybe I don't know if he's going to become that level of shooter. I don't think he's going to be the guy that's going to settle for a lot of jumpers like Jason Tatum. I don't really have a 1-to-1 comparison. I think I see Jalen Johnson has been brought up. I
See,
think
Jalen Johnson's been brought up twice. Lamar
yeah,
Odom, Sean Marion hybrid by Norin Rad.
that's fair. If you come out of this draft with Jalen Johnson, you absolutely like are absolutely happy. Jalen Johnson's an All NBA guy, and if that's who Tyran Stokes is, that's great. But I just think Tyran Stokes is just gifted. Like you said, he can really really pass like one hand passes. I think and the idea is that oh man, these guys are going to be better with NBA spacing, and it doesn't always work that way. I think it's going to absolutely work that way for him, where he's
Yeah.
not going to play in clogged lanes. Like he had to play against Team Durant. I think it was in Kansas City, and he hit somebody with a spin move. Then there was a behind the back counter, and he banged on
Oh
somebody. Like
yeah, that play's been going viral the
yeah,
last
keep
few
that
days on
going
social
because
media.
that's special. He needs to improve as a shooter, but at the same time, he might not be a bad shooter. So he played really well. His as a 17-year-old on 17s, his teammate was, I believe, Jason Crow. And
Yeah,
on
they were on
that,
the same team. Yeah.
yeah, they were on that team. 22 points, 10 rebounds, almost 4 assists, 2.8 stocks. He shot 31% on jumpers, but he's obviously great in transition. But when he played with AJ as a 16-year-old playing 17s, he averaged 21, 9, and 3. He shot 40% on jumpers.
How
And
in the
I'm just
world does I got a question. Sorry to cut you off. How in the
go
world
ahead.
do you have AJ Devanza, who's the number one pick in a loaded draft, and Tyron Stokes on the same team, and you don't win Peach Jam?
Because you run into the Night Riders, who
You run into the
has
night
Caleb
rider.
Wilson
Yeah.
and the Boozer brothers.
And the Boozer
So
brothers.
you played
Yeah.
against, you got two number 1 picks versus a number 3 and a number 4 pick. And the number 3 pick has the unreal synergy with his twin brother. But I feel like it's not disrespectful. I just don't think anybody's as good as Tyron Stokes.
Yeah.
No one is
Talent
as talented as
is
Tyron Stokes. I don't think there one is.
I mean, even when I saw him at the U19s last summer, that team was absolutely loaded with AJ and I mean, who else was on that team? I'm drawing a blank
Michael
here.
Brown, Koa
Mike Hill
Pete,
Brown was on the team called Pete. And he
Morris
came off the bench.
Johnson.
Morris Johnson, yeah, he came off the bench on that team. And you can make a case and say that he was the second best player on that
Yes.
team
Yeah.
outside of Mike Hill Brown. And even Mike Hill might have had like a game where he didn't really do anything. He had some like great games, but it may be one of those games where he didn't need to do anything. But Stokes came to play. He was fiery every single game. He was intimidating, just like with the athleticism. I mean, he's a monster. But I love the fact that you got this guy that is just so gifted and talented and powerful, but can pass. Now the decision making, I think court vision and decision making are two different things.
And that's why I
Because
said, yeah, he could. That's why I said what I said when we first started. But go ahead.
he sees he sees the play, he can process it. He's not afraid to fire passes in tight spaces, but sometimes his turnovers are like picking up charges or stuff like that as
Dribbling
opposed
in
to just
traffic.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm a big Tyron Stokes fan. So my scouting report on him is just physically imposing, athletic, gifted passer. The jump shot needs to improve. But there's one game I watched him play, and they were daring him to shoot, and he made those shots. Like I don't think he's a guy that you can just leave open. But I do say if you turn him into a corner boy where he doesn't have the ball in his hands and he's forced to shoot like catch and shoot threes, I think that'll mess with him a little bit. And then you can dare him to shoot. But if you just let him play his role and get a rhythm, he's a respectable shooter. But I think he's best with the ball in his hands. And I don't want to see him in a situation where he's not playing like a point forward hybrid role.
I agree. I think that maybe I'm gonna say that for the end. But my scouting report on Tyran Stokes is again physical, great athlete, very good handle. Sometimes it leads to tough shots, but like I said, he is going to be the one that gets that NBA spacing, and you're like, oh wow, he draws a ton of fouls. I think he 10 foul attempts per game playing for the Oakland Soldiers as a 17-year-old. Great in transition. Again, strong on the glass. He rebounds. Shot selection obviously can improve. But I list him as a playmaking wing. And I think he has the tools to be a very good defender. Again, it's just sometimes about my thing going forward is not just looking at the numbers, but also do you have the physical tools to be a defender? Sometimes it is just they want to. And I've learned that from looking at guys like Dylan Harper, right? Dylan Harper, he played however little defense he wanted to at Rutgers, and you go out there and you see him picking up full court in the NBA Finals. Sometimes it's just a matter of,
Yeah, but I mean, I'll pick up full court if I got Wembayama behind me.
hey man, that's true, but he was really out there defending. Hey, I mean,
Yeah, I mean, if you know, like, if you know, all right, if I can pick this guy up full court, wear him down, and he doesn't want to get past me, and if he does, I might, Wemby may block the shot and give me a transition bucket. I mean, like, yeah, I mean,
hey
like,
man,
I
you
get it. The effort was better, but I just feel like, you know, if you play next to Wembayama, your defensive rating is gonna go up, or your defensive VC points are gonna go up because
yeah, attributes
dudes are
definitely
making
getting
U
better.
turns when they get to the basket if they get by
Yeah,
you.
yeah. But I mean, even then, like he was even without Wembanyama back there, he's a physical defender and he did a really good job. I think Tyron Stokes has the tools to be a very, very, very good defender.
Definitely, and
Other
you're not
scouting
challenging him at the rim. You're not challenging him at the rim because he's
Wembanyama.
Stokes.
Oh
He's
no, no,
he's
yeah,
a
that's what
weak
I'm saying.
side shot blocker, and he's physical. So you're either gonna get the body, or he's gonna beat it on the glass.
Yeah, I'm all in on Tyron Stokes, and like I said, I think, I think that he's as good as a number one pick. I, it might not be a hot take to say there's a gap between him and AJ DeBanch as prospects.
I think I would go with. I think I would go with AJ. Well, I shouldn't say I think I would go with AJ. All right, but here's a
Why?
question for you. Why would I go with AJ? Because I
What
think
does he
AJ is
do?
going to
What does he
be.
do better?
I think AJ is going to be a 27 point per game scorer in the NBA.
You don't think Tyron Stokes can be a 27 point per game scorer in the NBA?
I no. I see like 23, but I think AJ is going to be able to. I think AJ is going to win you a scoring title. He's going to win you. I think AJ is going to win a scoring title. But with
He got
Stokes,
he
sorry,
got to make
here's
them threes made to win the scoring title. But go ahead.
yeah. I mean, well, Stokes would too. But I think that, like I said, I think that Stokes is to me my number one. But here's a question for you, and maybe you that are listening in the comments: why isn't he the consensus number one? Only thing you can
He,
hear people say is, "Oh, we're kind of worried about the character," and depending on who you talk to, they may have some concrete evidence or whatever. But I don't know. Is it a situation? We talked about this last year with AJ, and I know you don't want to hear me like toot my horn here, but I said I think because AJ was number one for so long, people were looking forward to find somebody that can take him off that number one spot. And Stokes has been number one every year. But
but
now
this
all of
is
a
a different
sudden,
draft class. This
it's
is
a
a different
different
draft
draft
class.
class.
And
But like AJ
also,
said, I've been number one the whole time, and I'm gonna be number one. And he was right.
here's the thing. This is a different draft class. Darren Peterson gave him 60. and outplayed him at every stop. So it wasn't like this was some made up conversation and the media just picked some random kid. Like he was
No, I agree
outplaying
with that.
him. And then also like Cameron Boozer, whether you win, I'm number one. Cameron Boozer is number one because he wins at the end of the day. So it's like I think that I think people see how AJ plays, and his game is aesthetically pleasing, and automatically
Some people don't
assume.
like it. They was tearing him up on Summer League, talking about this went number one, and
I
they,
mean,
because
yeah, but
the foul drawing and all of that.
I mean, he was snapping his head back. I
Yeah.
listen. I I think AJ is great. Him going number one. I mean, way to go out on a limb, Ralph. Like
Nah, you
it's
was
not
all
far fetched for
DP.
him to go number one. But
You was
let's
all
not
Darren
pretend like he
Peterson.
wasn't getting outplayed.
Yeah, he was in those matchups, but it ain't like 1-on-1 because it's Boozer was outplaying guys too. So
Right, and again, it's
with that being
projected.
said, though, do you think it's a situation where Stokes has been number one every year, and now people want to make it a competition? Because if
Yes,
you're a ranking service, right, and you keep ranking Stokes number one, you're probably not creating any buzz. But if you put the headline, Jordan Smith gaining some steam, or Stefan Joksimovic, or whoever, then it kind of
nah.
creates a little bit of a buzz. To
I
me,
mean, I listen.
it's a no brainer to me.
I get that, and but at the same time, like forget a buzz. Let's be honest about basketball, right? Like Tyran Stokes is the most talented kid in this draft. If he doesn't go number one, it's because the allegations of him not being or whatever the character is true, right? That would be the only. I honestly think, Ralph, I was going to save it for the end. He could win National Player of the Year as a freshman.
At
To
Kansas,
why yo he can average if he is legit good enough to average 28 rebounds, 4 assists, and 3 stocks as a
yeah, I
freshman.
just.
He's really that good, right?
But you know what though? And I mean, I don't know if I'm breaking news, but there's been some rumblings and rumors that Trey White and Melvin Council might be coming back to Kansas, which
And
is
they
crazy. I
gotta
mean,
chill,
like,
man. Man, Melvin Council played with Sharon Collins, man. What are we doing, man?
he's only been at Kansas 1 year, but I've heard like
Man.
the fans love him. I mean, even when I was doing,
No.
you
I heard
know,
that too, yeah.
yeah, when I was just doing like intel on Darren, the thing that always came up was the everybody's favorite player from the fans and teammates was Melvin Council, but I think he might, and I could be wrong here. Sound like Brian Windhorst. Don't aggregate me, but I think like he went to JUCO and they're fighting for another year. And there's a whole bunch of guys that played in summer league that were E10 guys that are trying to get back to school, or which makes sense. If you're an E10 guy, which is I think $91,000 guaranteed, that means you are a $2 million player in college basketball. So why not extend it or whatever? But if Kansas does have those guys, and also there's some people that believe that that's why Bardwell backed out of his commitment to Kansas,
Mm.
because one or two of those guys might be back and he would want to play. So with that being said, Kansas should be good, but back to why wouldn't he go number one? And let's just be honest. That means teams would be concerned about the intel and popping fireworks shirtless with sexy red
That's a red
on
flag to me, man. As
4th of
much as I like
July.
Tyron Stokes, come on, man. What are we doing, man?
Like we talked about in that last episode, how do you even know sexy
Where
red?
was that at?
I mean,
Was that in Lawrence?
let's say they met like I don't know, halfway would be like Columbia or something like that. But was he in St. Louis? Was she in Kansas City? Um, yeah, man. Somebody compared Stokes to Cam Whitmore. Yeesh.
That's disrespectful, man. Cam Whitmore doesn't pass to anybody. No, he doesn't pass to anybody.
Yeah,
Tyron Stokes can really, really pass.
but
I
I
think
think
one
maybe they're
day,
just saying it from a talent comparison to just kind of being hints. Because even with Whitmore, and I remember I had him going like top five. nobody like on the outside publicly has said why he fell. Only thing they can say,
Did
oh
he have
yeah,
a
there
knee
was some.
injury though?
Yeah, but they were saying there were some injuries that came up or whatever, but nobody has publicly said why he fell so far. He was top 5 in every mock, probably up until the last week, and then boom. So, um, somebody said sexy red is a green flag, in my
Man, God
opinion.
bless you, man.
Yeah,
God
curious. I
bless you,
just want to
brother.
know how do you, and like the world is smaller because of social media. Guys have more access to people, but how do you have access to sexy red? Like, why does she have? I mean, like, who knows? That's I'm probably too
Bro,
old to try to figure that
right.
out.
Yeah, all right, that's not my generation. But I mean, with Cam Whitmore, I mean, it's hindsight, but we talking about the top 5 pick. He had 19 assists compared to 42 turnovers. I mean, like that. We talked about this with Elijah Arenas, man. The dudes that just score and do nothing else, it's hard.
Yeah.
So
So
that's not
someone
Tyran Stokes. Go ahead.
Yeah, I agree, and I don't think there's similarities. Someone said attitude issues and rumored character issues with Cam Whitmore and Stokes are similar. Like for me, I heard Whitmore just didn't talk, and I've been around long enough to where some people think that teammates that don't talk are a little weird to be around. And of course, in a working environment, you probably want to work with somebody that communicates as opposed to someone that doesn't say anything. And I've really seen it hurt point guards a lot. Like there's a point guard that I was, scouting this past year. I thought he was an NBA player. He's been in the NBA before and he's had some good numbers. And I would always ask, why doesn't he stick? And teams like just don't talk. Like who wants a third point guard that just is mute, like doesn't talk? So,
That dude is cold,
um,
though.
who's that?
The one you talking about?
You
Yeah,
probably
you
even know what I'm
go ahead.
talking about. All right, someone said, would you compare him to Michael Beasley? Now, Michael Beasley wasn't the passer, Stokes. Michael Beasley, I mean, ironically, they're both going to school in Kansas. Yeah, I could see some similarities. I think Michael Beasley is a one of one, just like a walking bucket. He can get out of bed and get you 30. And I actually had a conversation with Mike a couple years ago, and the nicest guy. Like, if you ever get a chance to meet Michael Beasley, one, you're only going to find him in a gym. He was trying to get me to play him one on one. Like I was at the gym filming something. He's like, check up. I'm like, dude, I'm not about to play you on one on you. You Mike Beasley. Why would I want to play you one on one? So we
Man,
start
you a
talking. I was asking him
sucker. I'd have took the
about his
challenge, man.
no, like he was really like trying to play. Like he
Yeah, I would
just
have
hangs
played
in the
him. Like,
gym
man, don't tell me
and
to check up,
he's
man.
like trying to play. So anyway, I was asking him about his freshman year. He was like, oh yeah, I was fat. he was like, he was like, I was fat, Mike. He said, I didn't even know what I was doing. I was just hooping. So Michael Beasley is just another level of gifted scorer. I don't think Stokes is that gifted as a scorer like Michael Beasley. I mean, Michael Beasley was he like 26 and
12.
12
Yeah.
as a freshman, and he'll tell you he didn't know what he was doing. He was fat. Um, so anyway, so the comparison, I guess I get the angle where you're
I,
going
I,
at, but
I,
Beasley still went. Well, he went number 2. Um,
here's like
yeah,
13 as a rookie. I think Beasley was too much of a tweener during that era of basketball.
I don't know. I thought it changed on him once he already got established.
But I'm saying like then he moved to the wing in Minnesota and
He got
it
skinny.
was he got skinny and he scored a lot of points. But I think Stokes is a wing. I think Stokes is a point forward in the NBA. I think he's going to initiate a lot of offense, but also can play both sides of pick and roll.
He's a
Um,
weapon. Yeah,
he's a
he's
weapon,
definitely a weapon.
but I don't. Real quick, let me see. I want to hear more about the Benson prospect as a prospect versus Stokes. Again, if you say he scores better, if it looks better, but like I said, I mean, who has better court vision at the same age? Tyran Stokes. Who's a better rebounder? Tyran Stokes. Who's a better defender? Tyran Stokes. The
But whose
free
team
rate,
was it? Whose team was
huh?
it? Whose team
Whose
was it when they
team
were
was he
teammates?
averaged one more point than him? What you
It
mean
was
who team
AJ's
was
team.
it?
All right,
I'm
someone says,
16. I'm a whole year younger than you. You average one more point than me.
Hold on. Someone says you guys should start showing film. Yeah, I would like to, but I want to get paid for this.
Yeah, man. That's the thing. They will
Yeah,
they will
you
snipe.
show you show film, especially if it's the Big Ten. It's gonna get flagged. Then you get your channel shut down or whatever. So maybe, I mean, if we did like a Patreon, we could show film or whatever. Let's see. Tyran and Boozer are the same. Huge freshman, 6'7", 230. Yeah, but Boozer's bigger than Tyran.
Yeah.
Yeah, someone put Boozer with 6'9", 250. Would Stokes makes the top four in the 2026 draft? Five.
Yes. I mean, well,
Five.
uh, let's say he would be in that tier with those guys.
Yeah, but I don't know if he would go ahead of Caleb Wilson.
He's 2 years younger than Caleb Wilson. Again, if he averages 19, 8, and 3 next year and wins Player of the Year in the Big 12, it could be
They're not letting
National
him
Player
win.
of the
They're not
Year.
letting him win Player of the
Why
Year.
not, man? Why are we, man? Come on, man.
They're not letting him win Player of the Year.
Why not?
He
Who
might
who who's gonna win Player of the Year next year?
he
Ain't
might
no
bring
Yaxels
sexy
out
he
there.
might bring sexy red to the
Have it with a red and blue wig from Kansas, man.
yeah, yeah. they they're not giving him Player of the Year.
Mo
Someone
Crevis, Player of the
somebody
Year? Nah,
said
he gonna score.
I said Jordan Smith could win Player of the Year. I think Jordan Smith is the guy that people. I feel like no, not saying like his talent doesn't deserve to be mentioned, but I feel like there's a push to to make Jordan Smith ahead of Tyran Stokes.
I got so again, I think Jordan Smith is number two. And we are, I'm basically executive producing tomorrow's episode, but I think
I don't even
Abdu
know what
Tori.
tomorrow's
What?
episode is. Well, I don't
We
even know
talking
what
about
tomorrow's
Abdu
episode.
we talking about Abdu Tori.
Okay, all right.
I Jordan Smith's teammate at Arkansas, I think Abdu Tori is a top 5 pick in this draft, 8 at worst. But another question: do you think Elijah Reeves can show some passing improvement with the stacked USC squad? I don't know.
Tune in to yesterday's
Yeah,
episode.
yeah.
Tune in to
Catch yesterday's
yesterday's episode.
episode. Ralph Stokes and Bill Self. How do you feel about that relationship dynamic? What are your thoughts on that?
Must see TV. I hope they got the cameras rolling. I hope there's a documentary. Again, like I read the stuff on Twitter, and some of the stuff is just downright funny, especially, like I said, the sexy red video came out. They're like, and then I think there was a video of him maybe like checking in the campus, and he was iced out, and he had
That's
like
that's that's regular, man. You shouldn't
crazy
be mad at a
expensive
kid being.
luggage.
You can't be mad at a
Well,
kid being iced out when these coaches is wearing ice for these stupid hype videos. So, man, let that kid
yeah,
wear his chain. Now the
but
money spread,
just
that's a little different though. Don't do the money
yeah.
spread.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the money spread. That was it. That was the picture. The money spread is when you got the fan and
Yeah,
all the
don't do the
money.
money
And
spread.
someone said this is definitely Bill Self's last year. that was that was the comment
But I mean,
I saw on that.
Bill Self is a professional. He said, Tyran Stokes is a great player. And he said all the right things about Darren Peterson last year. He
Yeah,
said coming in the, summer workouts, Tyran Stokes is legit. So I'm not mad. I think that, with I hope that Bill Self is everything that Tyran Stokes needs to
I
stay
agree.
focused and stay on track because that dude he has all-star NBA level talent and he should be the number one pick. And hopefully, this works out for both parties because Bill Self is an OG and, sometimes kids need OGs and hopefully that's his OG to help him get to where he needs to be in the NBA.
I agree 100%. Did you see Bill Self's quote? Now, the last couple of years, I feel like Bill Self has made some very outlandish quotes. Not outlandish in a bad way, but more so putting a lot of pressure on his prize freshman. Last year was Darren Peterson, and I forget the exact quote, but he definitely kind of threw it out there like he could be one of the best freshmen ever. This year, he kind of toned it
Peterson?
down a little bit. Yeah,
Yeah.
he kind of toned it down a little bit, and he said that Tyran Stokes is a combination of Andrew Wiggins and Josh Jackson. So he kind of narrowed it to his Kansas players.
Dang, coach, why you
It,
put them dudes on me, man? I mean, I
well,
see some of the Josh Jackson because Josh was a
he was a
dog and he
dog.
played
Yeah,
hard.
the
I get that.
best high school player I've seen.
He was
Josh is my
older.
number one. Huh?
He was
He wasn't
older.
that much older though. He wasn't that much older. He
During
was the
that
best high
time,
school
he was
player.
older.
No, I
Josh
mean
was
there's other.
Josh was an older prospect. He wasn't like OJ Mayo old, but he was older than
But he
everybody in
was
that
still the
class.
best high school prospect I've ever seen. He played 1 through 5. DeBoni, the best prospect in the world today? No, nope, no, no, no,
No,
nope, no. He wasn't even the best player. Well, yeah, he was like the third best prospect on his team, and he's not 14 or whatever they got him listed as. Um,
hey man, if he's 14, I'm in my 30s still.
yeah, I like him though. Like I've been weighing, is he really 14? I've seen him play live so many times this past year. I was like talking about his mannerisms. I was just looking at his body. Like sometimes you look at his body, you're like, okay, he might be young. But then somebody showed me a picture from 5 years ago, and his face was the exact same. And that's when I was like, okay. Because in
Ralph, who's the
five
best
years, if you're
prospect?
14, if you're 14 or 15, that means 5 years ago you were 10 and you
Yeah.
should look the same from 10 to 15. So that means you could be 20 or 15. But anyway, um, uh, let me
Who
see.
I think the best prospect in the world is? I think it's Jan Kamagate.
Okay.
I think Jan Kamagate is the best prospect in the world. He
I can go with that.
reclasses.
If
He's
I think
yeah.
I saw Dwight Howard.
I think he's
I saw
Anthony Davis.
young, I saw young Dwight Howard. All right, somebody says been tapped in for a while now, motivated me to get started. I'm a middle school and freshman grassroots scout for Coast to Coast Preps. Y'all should tap into the 2030 class now. Oh, James on the 2030 class.
Uh
But again, I
NBA
know we on
class,
it, but
yes.
2030, you talking about 2030 graduation class?
Yeah, 2030 is a little
2030
too that's too early for me. It's too much puberty ready to kick off. Now,
is that
2029 draft
is is
class,
that is that Harry Jackson and yeah, that's Harry Jackson and DJ Parker.
yeah,
No, that's that
but
class. Yeah.
it's still 2029 class, I got some stuff for you. 2030, I'm still putting my list together.
Well, here's the
For sure.
thing about, and I guess we just kind of going off subject here. Here's the thing about this 2030 class that is going to be interesting is that we James, we talked to a parent last weekend and had this conversation. How many of those kids now are going to reclass up simply because now they are, if they're older, and let's say they're not NBA prospects, they're not putting themselves in position to be able to go to college for 5 years. So if they're older for that class, I wonder, are they going to reclass to their normal class to put themselves in position to be able to go to college 5 years if they're not one and done guys. So all these parents that started reclassing their kids so they can be older, it may help now, but if your kid is not an NBA guy, you're throwing millions away. Because if they're good, if they're just a Power Five player, you go to school 5 years, you could easily finish your college career with 8 to 10 or more million. And I mean, and the game could change between that. So I'm curious to see how many of these 2030 kids class go back to their regular class. Because I know some of these guys are old. And I'm
Been
not saying
15 for a
old
couple years.
because some guys may have had some birthdays following the deadline. I mean, I know some of these kids have literally been held back and they are older.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's read some of the questions. Yeah, we did tap in. Maybe Tyler Tanner could win night. Yeah, I think so.
Tyler Tanner.
I mean, it's not best NBA prospect. I mean,
Is
it's not
Tyler
going to be
Tanner
somebody
gonna
from Duke this year. I don't think.
is
But
Tyler Tanner gonna have a better year than Jeremy Fears Jr.?
mm, I don't know. Yeah, Jeremy Fair. I
Jeremy
mean, I
Fears is
was.
gonna break the all-time assist record, I think, at Michigan State.
Yeah. Torre versus Billy Richmond. Who gets more playing time? We'll
Torrey's a
talk
better
about that
shooter.
tomorrow.
But
We'll talk
we'll
about that
talk about
tomorrow.
that. But Torrey's better. I'm extremely high on Abdul Torre. Extremely high. Snoop
Yeah,
Dogg
he
high on Abdul Torre.
text me like, "Hey, we got to talk about it." But I've been on Tory for a while. All right, let's get back to Tyran Stokes. Man, I love the the comments in the chat. All right, what does, and you kind of hinted at it, but what does a strong freshman year look like for Tyran Stokes?
Make sure Mike's good. 19 points, 8 rebounds, 3.5 assists. We probably gonna average 3 turnovers a game. Just comes with the territory. 2.8 stocks. I think he has the talent to win National Player of the Year as a freshman.
Talent is not
Yeah,
that's not a
but
question.
I think he will have the production. I think he is going to be the best freshman in the Big 12. No disrespect to Caleb Hope. No disrespect to Dylan Mingo. No disrespect to Bruce Branch. We'll have a Bruce Branch episode for sure. I know what somebody thought so. Caleb Hope, he'll get his own episode as well. But Tyran Stokes is going to win Big 12 Freshman of the Year, 19-8, 2.8 stocks, 3 turnovers, a lot of posters. I mean, a smoking hot take. He could flirt with a triple double, especially early on
Oh yeah,
when
when they play like
the bad teams.
Alabama, Alabama Tech,
Yeah,
State,
yeah,
Northeast.
yeah. He could. He might get a triple double against one of those teams. Definitely putting somebody on a poster for sure.
Yeah, I can't wait to see him play. I really can't wait. And I mean, I'm hoping, like you said, this situation at Kansas is good for him. I hope all the concerns about the character, I hope he's able to, eliminate just all the chatter. But when you got the money fan
Yeah,
and you with sexy red, you're only magnifying what people are concerned about. But here's a question
his
for you:
go ahead.
how does Bill Self? Let me reword this. Does Bill Self have the power to coach Tyran Stokes hard?
I
Because
think
again, like this is a high profile kid. Um, he's had arguably the number one recruit back to back years, and so like if like does it impact like the type of kids he can go after in the future if there's some issues with Stokes?
you
Like, can
know.
you coach him hard? Can you bench him? Can you, like it's been known that he's got a fiery personality, and I think it's good on the court, but sometimes it kind of spills out to his teammates and his coaches. So with that being said, if you're Bill Self, can you coach him hard and penalize him?
I'm not coaching Tyron Stokes hard. I
So
think
what are you
his
gonna do? Let
person.
him run the
No,
program?
no, 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 no. You don't have to let him run ragged, but you don't have to coach him hard. You need to hold him accountable. But if he is a fiery kid, sometimes a fiery kid is not receptive to fire back in his face. It's like icy hot. You know what I'm saying? You got to dole it and then you got to cool it. If he's a fiery coach, that may not be what he needs to hear. And you got to think at the same time, like, when is he going to get coached hard ever again? Nobody coaches you hard in the NBA. You're expected to be a professional. You're expected to be an adult, no matter if you're 19 in the NBA or 39 in the NBA, like Garrett Temple. You can't get in those guys' faces, so he's not going to see that again. If I'm Bill Self, I'm just saying, like, look, man, I'm gonna lay it down the line. Your reputation is so whatever right now. They thought you had on jeans when you were working out in the track. So let's do this. We have to do all the PR. You got to keep your nose clean. He's never been in trouble with the law, but like let's make sure everything is on the up and up. Let me help you because you got to think again. This is not Tyran Stokes. The this is me making a broad generalization of 17-year-old, 18-year-old kids who I'm a Udoka. I mean, we'll see how long that coach at Hart lasts. I mean, he cussing out Bron and the offense is bad. I mean, like, what are we doing? But I'm saying the 17-year-old kids, like they have money. They are used to having money, but they're also used to, this is not me saying this about Stokes, they're also used to having people around them who would just allow them to do whatever. And I think that yelling at him, holding him responsible is just the way you have to do it, is what I'm trying to say. It doesn't have to look like Tom Izzo.
Yep. Anthony Banks said Bill Self has coached those type of players before the Morris twins. I agree with that. I just think the situation with the Morris twins is a little bit different than Stokes. The Morris twins were highly recruited, but Stokes comes in as, the number one recruit. And I just think college coaches have lost a little bit of power due
Lost a lot of
to
power.
one just the way this generation is a little bit different. Then you got like NIL playing a different factor. You have and I had a coach tell me this. You have players on the team that are making more than the assistant coaches.
Yeah.
A lot more than the assistant coaches.
You know,
So it's a different game.
if I'm Bill Self, I'm leaning a lot on Jock Vaughn. Jock Vaughn is what,
Yep.
a few years removed from the NBA, and like I just kind of feel like in order to, for a lack of a better word, change the kid or steer him in a different direction, you got to show him what it's going to be like in the NBA. And I don't know what that looks like at Kansas, but you have to be firm, but also understand that he might not be receptive to you cussing him out. Everybody's not receptive to that, right?
Yeah.
And I'm already rich, so what are you really telling me? You know what I'm saying? And this that kind of draft where, for one, you can't bad mouth the kid because you still got to recruit next year's class. So what happens when they
Yep.
call? What happens when who's the number one player? What happens when Beckham Black calls Tyran Stokes? Hey man, what's your experience like with Kansas? Man, he cussed me out. Like you just can't do that anymore because you have to recruit for the future. I just think that they have to not necessarily hold his hand, but they got to figure out what's going to work. I don't think fiery just yelling at him is. He's not. I don't think he's going to be receptive to that because kids these days aren't normally just receptive to that. That's not where we are. That's not where these kids are as a generation. Like you have to do things a little differently, and that's just kind of where it is.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think this year will be as difficult as it was last year for Bill Self in Kansas. I thought he did a really good job with the media, with all the stuff with Darren Peterson. I think there was a point where he got a little bit frustrated, and
Yeah,
he kind of mentioned it, but I thought he handled that well. And if he doesn't handle that well, then I don't think he gets Tyron Stokes.
I agree.
So,
But
but like I said, I'm looking forward to seeing that dynamic. I mean, I think like there are people that want to see it fall apart because that would be like a better story in a sense in
no
this,
way, man.
this world where like negative news sells. So I think there are people that are waiting on that, and there's probably people who have the articles already written and they're ready to hit send. But like you said, I hope it works out for both of them. I hope Self um is able to get the best out of Stokes, and I hope that Kansas does well, and I hope he's the number one pick, just because I want him to be the number one pick. All right, here's one. How does Stokes compare with Aaron Gordon?
Better
I don't
score,
think
much
Aaron
better
Gordon was
score.
a, but Aaron Gordon wasn't the same level of passer coming out. I thought he was more
No,
of a connector, good connector passer, but I feel like Stokes is a playmaker.
Stokes has the talent to mismatch hunt in the NBA as a
Yeah,
ball handler. That's not
yeah.
who Aaron Gordon is.
I mean, my comparison again, Miles Bridges with court vision.
Man, well, I mean, Miles don't put the ball on the ground like that.
Yeah, that's true.
That's why I can't do the Miles. I think he is not Jason Tatum, but he's of that line of playmaking wing forward that can play both sides of pick and roll. Again, not the same. I mean, Tatum is Tatum. He may not be the scorer that Tatum is, but I think he's a 20-point per game guy in the NBA. I mean, we mentioned Jalen Johnson. I think that's definitely. I think he's more of a wing than Jalen Johnson. Um, Probably wired a little bit more to score in isolation than Jalen Johnson, but I really like Tyron Stokes. Like I said, I think he's as good as a prospect that we've had in the last of the Cooper Flag, AJ DeBansa. Like he isn't too far off of those guys as a prospect.
All right, here's a question for you. Um, Intel comes out great. Tyron Stokes is a model citizen, model student. Everything is good, but he's not the number one pick in the draft. What would be the reason?
Jordan Smith is Dwayne Wade. I mean,
Okay.
that's the only thing that I can think of. I don't think
What
Bruce.
about his game? Like, is it the shooting
Well, that's okay.
consistency?
I see what you're saying. Maybe the shooting isn't what you want it to be, right?
Mhm.
He struggles off the catch, and maybe it looks a lot like what he. And that was just one game, but he looked terrible at the hoop summit, right? And really, that whole team looked bad. I mean, Jordan Smith was on that team, Caleb Hope was on that team, uh, eked out a win, I believe. But if the jumper, I think he's a good shooter, though. That's the thing, a good enough shooter as a scorer. Unless it just is god awful, I don't see how anyone overtakes him, especially if the intel is good.
What's
What's
interesting is I think he's a better shooter than Josh Jackson at the same stage, but Josh Jackson, try to say that fast, shot 38% from three. I
how
didn't
many
believe in it.
attempts?
I don't know the attempts right now, but I know he shot like 56% from the foul line.
There you go.
And yeah. All right,
Jeff, hold
Stefan
on.
Joksimovic plays like Luca, goes number one. Everybody likes.
He does not
Listen,
play like
man.
Luca. He shoots
I
side
think.
steps like Luca. He does not pass the ball like Luca. He
Yeah,
doesn't
yeah,
shoot
yeah,
the ball
yeah.
as well as Luca either.
Yeah, I saw both of them young. I saw Luca as a 17, 18-year old, and I've seen Joksimovic quite a bit this year. But you can't talk about Luca without talking about like A+ court vision. And
That's
Joksimovic
even
doesn't have.
disrespectful. A+ is
Yeah,
like that's he has
yeah,
unreal court vision. You can't grade his court vision.
yeah. Joksimovic is not looking to pass.
That's
I mean, he
crazy.
he is in the half court, like like again, I've watched him a lot in the half court. He sees over the top of defenses, but he gets tunnel vision. He doesn't pass the ball ahead in transition, and he wants to score. I mean, Luka Doncic can dominate a game without scoring, and to the point where his passing like makes him like a 30-point scorer in the NBA,
Yeah,
if
because you
that makes
can't double
sense.
him.
You can't double him. So I just think like comparing Luka Doncic to Joksimovic is, as James would say, a complexion comparison.
Man,
And I think
come
this is just a Slovenian comparison because if Joksimovic were black or were from Harlem, I don't think anybody would say
you
he
calling him
plays like Luka
Musa
Doncic.
Kamasoko, man. Come on now. What are you talking about?
Joksimovic could be a better Kasparis. I'm not a Yakachonis
Yakachonis
guy.
fan?
Never
Nah,
have
me
been.
neither.
Can't beat anybody off the dribble. I've said this. If you go back and look at our locked on stuff, I was like, the guy can't beat anybody off the dribble. He
Turned it
somehow was
over
getting
a lot.
fouled.
Yeah.
Yeah, he somehow was getting fouled, and he just had like this unique way of, I can't get to the rim, but if I do get in the paint, I'm gonna make it. So it looks like I'm a great finisher at the rim because
He
my
was,
percentages are
he,
high.
he was tricking
But
people,
yeah,
man.
I'm not a fan of point guards that can't get 2 feet in the paint consistently. And if you can't get 2 feet in the paint, then you better be a guy that is killing drop coverage and making threes from deep at the top of the key. So I think Joksimovic, I take him over Yakachonis. I mean, I thought Yakachonis was awful in summer league. I think 2 years in a row.
Again, I think that was 2 years in a row. I
I think
mean,
he was bad this year.
I'm not trying to beat up on Yakachonis too much, but I just, people was like, man, he
He might
is
not
not.
play.
If
He
he,
might not play on
I
a
mean,
rebuilding
Ryan
budget.
Rollins. I mean, if I'm honest with you, if I'm
Burries,
Milwaukee, I'm giving Braden Berries all those point guard reps over him and
yeah,
say, man, try to figure it out. Be a star. We need something. But I
yeah.
mean, Nakachonis just my thing was, man, it was lauding his IQ for being so high. And they would say, my man, Jeremiah Fears needs to improve as a playmaker. And I think he averaged more turnovers than Jeremiah Fears. So it's
No,
like,
Yakachonis IQ was high to not take any crazy shots in the paint, to trick people to think he's a great finisher
man, he
when he
was
could barely
jump
get to the
passing.
rim.
He was jump passing anytime he got blitzed. Uh
Question is, best Duke player this season? We talked about this on the last episode.
Man, it might be Boomche, man.
Yeah.
It might be Boom J Boom J.
Might be. I mean, he's coming in. I mean, the buzz that he's coming in with is great.
Yeah,
He doesn't have any pressure to try to get in and out. You know what I mean?
yeah.
He can just hoop. Um, I don't know. I don't know who the best player on Duke is. All right. So, all right, let's go back to Stokes. So for me, if he's not the number one pick, then I think it's a combination of the shooting numbers aren't there, and then Kansas doesn't use him the right way.
I don't think that matters how you
I
use
do.
him. Well,
I
here's the
think
thing. Go ahead.
if you have too many guys that need the ball and aren't good shooters off the catch, and if he has too many situations where he's playing off the ball or he's standing in the corner. Because the thing about Josh Jackson was, I thought Josh, and I think Josh played on a team with Frank Mason. I don't know. I get those years mixed up. I thought Josh was a point forward. He was best with the ball in his hands. When he got to Kansas, he still ended up being what, the third or fourth pick.
Fourth pick, I think.
I thought that he had too much time in the corner, and he made the shots, but they were daring him to shoot. And so I think with Stokes, if you bring back all these fifth year guys and he's not allowed to just play point forward and they don't like run the offense around him, then I don't think you get the best out of him. I don't want to see Tyran Stokes shooting a bunch of catch and shoot threes. I think he should only shoot threes when I don't honestly. I don't even want to see him shoot threes. I want to see him get downhill, punish guys, draw two defenders, and make defenses pay for double team him.
Here's why I think he won't. He's not. Him being off the ball won't bother him. He's six. Okay, Josh Jackson was 6'8", 205. He rebounded, right? But
Yeah,
Stokes is such a to steal Skip Bayless's slang. I'll never steal Skip Bayless's slang ever again. But he's such a freight train in transition, and we know he's going to hit the glass. You should
yeah.
almost be able to pencil him in for 4 free throw attempts off of grab and go opportunities. And then we saw what he did where they ran no plays for him on the U19s. Again, that's a different situation. You know, we smacking the spit out of everybody. We got, 5 lottery picks on the team. Boozer was on that team too, right?
No, he didn't play.
Oh, he didn't play. He played the year
He
before.
played the year
But
before.
anyway,
Yeah.
what I'm saying is Stokes came off the bench and was ultra productive. No plays ran for him. Get it off the muscle, rebound, cut. Like he can play that way, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And I think Kansas would be crazy to no, I think Trey White is an NBA player, right?
He was very very good in summer league. I even wrote an
he's
article
the
on him.
definition of a Miami Heat guy, right?
Yeah.
I think
I
he's
just
an
think
NBA
he's
player.
in a weird situation because Miami is probably trying to get Klay Thompson. They're probably not trying to give out the last roster spots to rookies because they're probably waiting on buyouts. I feel like if I was Trey White, seeing Bradley Beal go back to the Clippers, that was a good sign. Um, but yeah, I just think he's in a weird, a weird, very weird
Yeah.
situation. Do I go
But
back
at
to
the same
school?
time, okay, Trey White, you're there, you're getting paid. But honestly, you need to play the exact same way you played last year, which is
Yeah.
make those catch and shoot shots and hit the glass. I'm just saying, I don't think I think because Stokes he plays hard and he has a motor, I don't think it's not going to work for him from a basketball standpoint because that dude is a competitor.
Yep. No, I agree. I like him. I just don't feel like he needs to settle for a lot of threes. Maybe
Nah,
make the
but
ones when when you're open. But if I'm him, I'm not going into the season trying to show NBA teams that I can shoot. I'm trying to, like you said, dominate, getting downhill, dominate on the glass, punishing teams, and then I'll just show teams that I can shoot during the pre-draft process.
show that playmaking, man. Fire those one hand skip passes.
That's what I want to see out of him.
Yeah.
I want to see the offense where they let him. Rock out. Put the ball in
Listen,
his hands. Put him in some ball screens. Let him make everybody else better.
invert those ball screens. If your boy doesn't come back for his 8th year of college, and you got to run with Leroy Blyden, I like him a lot. Or Taylor Kinney, man, have him go set the screen for Stokes and let him go mismatch hunt, and
That's
just
what I'm
treat him
saying.
like college Braun.
But they got a lot of guys that are best with the ball in their hands.
Yeah, but he the best guy with the ball. He
No,
the best guy on
I
the team.
no,
So
I agree with
get
that
down
much,
and lay
but
it out.
sometimes like you kind of got to maximize those guys too, simply
True.
because he can do things without needing to
But
massage
that's
the
why I
ball.
think you can use him as either a ball handler or as a role man as a four, because again he still can pass. I gotta look and see what they got at the five if there's a lob threat. But I
I'm
think
playing him
Tyran
at the
Stokes,
five too.
heck yeah, why not? But I mean, if you say, all right, Tyran, I want you to play the four this year, not the three, but you're a playmaking four, and you go screen and make plays out the short roll, he has a launching pad to dunk. We know he's a
Yeah.
good passer. He should be able to be zipping passes to the corners and making play. I just feel like he's so talented, and like there's so many different ways you can use him. That's why I say there's not a huge gap between him and these guys that have gone number one the past few years. Because I mean, like, look at, like, I'm not saying he's not the, I don't know if he's a prospect that Cooper Flag is, but you saw how, like, what position did Cooper Flag play at Duke? Ball player, do everything. He led the team in every statistical category. I think Stokes can do the exact same thing, Rob.
You know what would be funny? If Tyron Stokes has a Cooper Flag type year, but he's on IG Live with Sexy Red every night.
Nah, man. Delete that, man. Delete
Make
that.
no, no,
Don't give him no
you know,
ideas, man. Get that
he
man
has a
some
Cooper
Bible
Flag
scriptures,
type
man. We got to
year,
clean up this
but
PR.
but but he
Do the money
finishes
spread with
Cooper
your grades, man. Do they
with the
still print
money
paper out?
spread. He's a model citizen, but he's having a lot of fun. Talk
Man.
about making front offices pull their hair out. Anyway, so I'm gonna wrap it up with this: Tyron Stokes versus the field. I'm going with Tyron Stokes.
Oh, for sure, Tyron Stokes. This is, hey, I'm team Tyron Stokes, man.
Yep, so am I. Hey, big shout out to everybody in the chat. This is the most that we've had. Tyron Stokes is, I guess I wouldn't say he's divisive. I mean, there's
Shouldn't
some
be
people
divisive.
that may think so, but again, thank you everybody that tuned in. We went an hour, and we're gonna go live again tomorrow. James already decided he's gonna talk about Abdul Torre tomorrow. Let us know in the chat or in the comments on YouTube who do you want us to feature next, because we are going live 5 days a week. I mean, I think we can pull this off all the way through basketball season.
Hey,
Live five
man,
days a week,
it's
10
enough dudes
o'clock
to cover.
p.m. So it's a lot of guys to cover. I mean, I think sometimes, I plan on James and I being on the road this year, covering some games. I got some ideas that we're going to be on the road, live scouting. I feel like there's a lot of guys that, man, they're only watching film. And I get it. I mean, there's nothing wrong with watching film, but I think I want to do some content where we are live on the road and just kind of sharing our thoughts. Patriot 111. We did Jordan Smith a couple days ago, so check that episode
Please
out.
check that out. We like Jordan Smith.
Yeah, we like Jordan
Uh,
Smith.
yeah.
Baba Oladotin. Hey man, I seen a video of him with the handles. Uh-oh. James not a fan, so we'll definitely cover him. Hey, we got to wrap it up. Once again, thank you for making this your last podcast to watch for the night, for sticking with us. Once again, it's Rafael and James. Subscribe. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. And we are out of here.